and I'll use this wrench to point at it. That lever right there connects right there with what looks like one of those C-clip thingamabobs. And those C-clips, the objective here is going to be to get that C-clip off of there. There's a pipe connected to that. I wonder how that's going to go. This pipe thing right here on that bolt right there. I may have to undo that, or maybe it'll just fish its way out. I don't know yet. Hey everybody, Soybean Farmer, March 3rd. Had a beautiful day to get down here in the shop and work on this. I'll tell you what, I'd never got that thing off there without this lift. First off, some genius before me decided that the super grade Permatex ought to be what they used. I thought I was going to actually break something. I was lifting, I looked around again, I went back to the internet. I said I got all the nuts out, I got all the bolts out of it. These two up here in the front, as you can see, right there and there, I managed to work them a little bit, and lift up and work them a little bit. It won't bad. It's a little pipe right there that everybody warned me about. Don't bend it. And this thing was a pure trick to get out of here. There was a piece that was tucked up under here that it would not come straight off. It'd come up enough to get off the pipe. Once I realized I'd cleared the pipe, then I realized I could wrestle around with it. That piece that goes up under there, I've been studying it and I can see it right here, is that piece right there. I was lifting on it and getting hung on it, and lifting on it and getting hung on it, and couldn't see it. And finally I realized I had cleared that pipe that I was concerned about. So I kind of pulled backwards with it, and that piece popped out and it came out. Let's see, I get the camera on it. Once that arm right there comes off, that plate that I've been fighting with will come off, and I can deal with that outside pipe. But praise God, we're here, we got this far. Let me show you what helped me do this without having to pull the control valve off. Here's how I got those two bolts loose without having to take off the hydraulic control valve. A subscriber to my channel, his name is Robert, and his YouTube channel name is Robert Drake's Farm. I just found it and subscribed to it. Anyhow, the story behind this wrench, you can see the grinding here. I needed to be able to get an open end wrench up onto a nut that was in a real tight space. So years ago, I ground this wrench off so I could accomplish my task. Robert made the suggestion in the comments that if you had a wrench you didn't mind sacrificing, you could grind off the box end of it and get it up in there. Well, a box end grabs a whole lot better than an open end, and in this particular situation years ago, the nut and bolt wasn't really that tight. This one was tight, so I knew it had to be a box end. Praise God, he's always taking care of me. First, he provides somebody like Robert to pop into my life and remind me of this grind a wrench off to make you a skinny wrench. And it turned out that the bolts I was working with were 5/8. Well, guess what? That's a 5/8 wrench. Camera focus, there it is, 5/8 wrench. So I got to the grinder and I ground that side a little bit. I ground that side a little bit, and I made me a skinny wrench. That thing fit right in there perfect. I used a big flat blade screwdriver, slid it in on top of it to, like right there, to wedge it and hold it in place. And then I took that 4-pound hammer laying right there, and I tapped it and tapped it, and it came loose. So Robert, thanks a bunch for bringing this skinny wrench trick back to the front of my mind and saving me the major aggravation of having to take that hydraulic control valve assembly off of this top cover plate assembly. Thanks, Robert. I really appreciate you bringing that back to my mind. Okay, that's the piece right there that I needed to get out so I can replace that tube, the O-rings on that tube sticking out right there. And sure enough, you cannot move that tube in the other direction enough to change those O-rings without pulling this piece off. I tried it. It will not go that far. But I can get to it now. Changed O-rings, cleaned this thing up, got the gasket for it, put the gasket on it. Well, I got this side panel piece back in over here, and I think it's good. The O-rings felt tight when it went top and bottom on that pipe down there. But this scraping of this gasket off up here, that's going to take hours. And I reckon I'm going to have to change the fluid, because as hard as I'm trying not to let it get down in there, it's getting in there. So I'll go find out some more about that. But we're getting the project done. Everybody, thanks for watching. We'll see where we get to tomorrow on this. Bye, y'all.